But one thing about this conference, I told the people, I said, listen to me. I said, while you're yet praising, the earth will yield her increase. But let me testify that me and my wife been going through a loan modification for over 2 years, 25 months. And I can't go through all the particulars. It'll take too long. Now hear me, people all around me have been losing their houses. Great people on my block have been losing their houses. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I've been in a loan modification working this thing for many, many months, almost 2.5 years. Now hear what I'm saying now. Yesterday when I was at the house by myself, had a vision, literally had a vision because something crazy happened and I just really can't get into it right now. But long story short, I had a vision that a package came to my house, solidifying my loan modification. I said, I was cleaning up the house. I said, let me dust take my floor mat in the front and shake it off. Open up the front door. There lies a package, FedEx. You better hear what I'm saying. FedEx from Bank of America saying you have been approved. Oh, shut that up, call ya. Don't tell me what God can't do. Now tap the next person and look at their desperate eye and say FedEx is coming to your door. Say FedEx is coming to your door. Watch.
I couldn't put my finger on what opened this door, and that's why when I saw the clip from the 2010 conference, I was like, wow, that was it. Because I've tithed, I've done certain things, and I'm sure it was a collective, but he told me then that I would not be denied.
You won't be denied. You won't be denied. You won't be denied. You won't be denied. You won't be denied. You won't be denied. You won't be denied.
I didn't even see him coming. I didn't, when he laid hands on me, I didn't. So it came, it was an all of a sudden type of interaction. So I didn't remember what was said. I remembered the experience. But to go back and see it like 2 years later, it's like, wow. Well, I've been trying to get approved for a modification since 2010. I got denied in 2010. They said I didn't qualify because my debt, I had too much debt. In 2011, I have a friend that was trying to get modified and was working with a company that was charging $1,500. So I paid $750 for them to help me, but it wasn't going anywhere. About 18 months later, I still didn't have an answer. It was always on the underwriter's desk. Since December of last year, I was in default, so I got the default letter. Around the end of October, early November, I actually got a decision but I was denied again. They gave me a decision saying that I was denied because I was already approved for a modification, which had never happened. Went back to them and told them I've never been modified, and they looked in their records. They saw I was never modified, but then they denied it because they said I had some other program, which I didn't have either. But one day, checked the mail, had a letter from Bank of America about an upcoming event. So I made the appointment, prepared all the paperwork throughout the day, and I got there confident that everything was going to go through, and I sat down, and right away the lady asked me for a document that I didn't have. And it wasn't requested, and, I was just like, okay, what am I going to do? And, I went over to FedEx to make some printouts, but I was having problems with my laptop, and I had problems printing, and an hour later, I was just really flustered and frustrated. It started raining really hard, And in my mind, I was just like, man, I just felt like I was being attacked. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm going to go back. So I went back that night, and I just didn't feel comfortable. My plan was just to go home, print everything, and come back the next morning. So that's exactly what I did. First thing the next morning, I went in, I bypassed the whole first process that had me stuck the day before. And it was just smooth. I turned in all the documentation. By that afternoon, I went back into the office, and I had already received a phone call that, it was other documentation that they wanted, but after waiting 1.5 years for a response, before, within hours, they're already reviewing the documents. So I went back after work, took the documents, and within the next week, they were asking for some more documents, but I can tell that the process was going faster. Someone was really looking at it, and just 3 weeks later, I got the information that I was approved.
Just a matter of 3 weeks, I got approved for my loan modification, about $500 less, which is a blessing for me. And then I had a double favor. About a week or two ago, I have a rental property where I called to see if there was some way I could get a lower interest rate or something like that. They told me no. And I got a notice in the mail last week about something different. But while I was on the phone with them, I just asked about them again, and they approved it. So the day that I got the FedEx, on Facebook, I posted 2 FedEx packages. They came the same day. So 2 approvals with lower interest rates for both my properties.
It was probably about a month ago. He pointed to me and said something to the effect like my time was coming, or it's about to be my time. And after that, a week or two later, he pointed at me and, said double favor, or something about doubles was going to come to me. And the double, actually, about 2 weeks ago, I have a rental property that I called and asked, was trying to figure out if I could refinance for a lower payment, lower interest rate, and they said no. And I got something in the mail over this past weekend, or the previous weekend, and I called about that, and I'm like, well, I'm on the phone with them. Let me just ask if there's anything they can do, and I got approved right then. So the double, actually, I received the 2 FedEx packages the same day. So, yeah, after being denied for both of them.
You won't be denied. You won't be denied. You won't be denied.
So I'm still, I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm not in awe. It's just an excitement. Like it feels good, and it's not that it feels good. Like, oh, I'm keeping my house. It feels good, but it's just the favor. Just seeing the word going to work. It just feels good that I had a seed in me that, it was just developing. It was a word developing in me that I had to hold on to. It wasn't for anyone else. So when seeing it manifest is just, it's powerful.
You won't be denied. You won't be denied. You won't be denied.
It was just wow. It was just amazing because the word definitely was working, even though I got denied multiple times and I got the default letter. When you know the word, or you have that vision, or you just continue to believe and walk in faith. It may not be the next day, it may not be the next year, but you still have to keep the vision. You have to hold on to the word.